All right, let's get into Friday feedback. You can send emails to info@davidpakman.com if you have something to say. We also will look at Substack comments, Twitter replies, YouTube comments, TikTok, and all these different things. Let's start with some criticisms, some more respectful, some less. Zack Ryderer says David Pakman is the epitome of a weak man. He's broken. You know, I welcome substantive criticisms. And what I would love is for Zack to tell me, which policy am I getting wrong? Where is my economic analysis incorrect? What is it about foreign policy that I am misunderstanding? That is something we could actually work with. The epitome of a weak man, he's broken, while Zack's the one spending his time posting comments online about people he doesn't really know. I don't know, not so sure about that criticism. Cap Mike, on the other hand, says, I refuse to listen to economic opinions about Trump's tariffs from people who don't even know how many genders there are. You know, Cap Mike, one of the things that sometimes happens is that I will get hate mail that really is better destined for someone else. On this gender stuff, you know, I've been pretty clear. I want everybody treated with dignity and empathy. I always want to make sure that we're providing equality of opportunity. I think that on issues of, for example, gender and sports, leagues are more than well equipped to handle this stuff, and we don't even need government intervention. But this is not a show that I hate to even use this, but this is not like a gender woke show where that's the primary prism, where it just seems like the criticism is really better for some other show, not for this one. Okay, let's continue. Teresa, maybe it's Teresa. Teresa says, did anyone notice that the whole world is talking tariffs and the stock market, and we are no longer talking about Signalgate? Yeah, so that is true. It is true that essentially the public discourse has moved off of Signalgate. But if the implication is that Trump timed the tariffs to take attention away from Signalgate, I don't think so. The tariffs have been their own monster for a while now. What I will tell you played a major role in getting off of the topic of Signalgate was that the administration investigated itself. And as Caroline Levitt told us, they found no wrongdoing and they have closed the investigation. What do you do? This is why at a certain point, you just have to win. There's no alternative to you've just got to win, because this is exactly what they can get away with. We investigated ourselves. We've been cleared. The investigation is over. Many times, Trump is doing things deliberately in terms of timing to take attention away from this and give it to that. He's been planning the tariffs for a while, and they are their own sort of fiasco. Le Boutique on TikTok says Trump masters the art of using a shitload of words and saying absolutely nothing, like we did in school when we came unprepared to do a presentation. Yeah, this is a pretty good assessment. You know, sometimes Trump uses a teleprompter, which of course Biden and Obama were evil for using, but sometimes Trump will use a teleprompter. And when he does, it's very clearly the first time he's reading the content of the teleprompter. And sometimes he'll look at it and sort of surprise himself, almost like he's reading a news article, even though this is supposed to be what he says. That's what happens with the teleprompter. When Trump doesn't have the prompter, it's a complete and total disaster. It's what about injecting bleach? It's the rant with the Los Angeles Dodgers about, it has to do with strong arms and weak arms and all this stuff. Yes, he does sound like the kid giving the book report without having read the book. Shane says, unrelated, love the turtleneck. Susan agrees. This is from Blue Ski, also known as Blue Sky. That's how you know he's up to serious business. Yeah, if you turn on the show, and I'm wearing a turtleneck, it's a very serious news day. There is no question about that. But now that it's getting warm, the turtlenecks are going to be increasingly infrequently worn. DJ Tanner's mom says you probably won't see this comment, but I just went on Amazon and bought your book while it's still available. Thank you for continuing the fight for free speech. I am humbled and flattered by everybody who has picked up the book recently. The book hit number 6 on all of, forget about number 6, nonfiction, new hardcover bestseller. The book was number 6 on all of Amazon out of millions of books over the weekend. It has had an insane week. If you haven't gotten the book, please do. If you have gotten the book, please review it. We now have something like, let me see here. We're closing in on 1,000 reviews of the book, which is just absolutely nuts. So thank you to everybody. Okay, from TikTok. How do entrepreneurs deal with these changes from one day to the next? These tariff roller coaster is a nightmare for their business. You know how a lot of entrepreneurs are dealing with it. We're starting to hear about it. We were notified by an advertiser recently, something along the lines of, listen, it's not that the tariffs are affecting us in this particular way. It's that they were on and then they were off. And now our suppliers from whom we get parts don't know what they need to charge us. We need to delay our advertising package until the third quarter or the fourth quarter when hopefully there's more clarity. So this is affecting everybody. You know, we own all of the equipment we need already. If something breaks, I'll have to buy a new camera or something, but we're not buying any equipment. We don't have gear. We're really just a service, an informational business. And yet we are being affected by the tariffs because the advertisers that help to fund the show are saying the money I was going to spend with you, I'm not going to spend right now. It is an entrepreneur's nightmare, no doubt about it. B-Rad says, even if this does bring back manufacturing to America, it will be quite some time before factories would produce anything. Trump is the one who's mentally challenged. Yeah, I've made this point before. If you want to bring industry back or set up American semiconductor manufacturing, or imagine that there's some particular car part that's always imported that we want to make here, it can take, sometimes it's decades, but forget about decades, a decade. It can take years. We could be talking 6, 8, 9 years. The idea that you're going to put a tariff on and overnight this manufacturing is going to start happening here, it just doesn't work that way. And I don't know if it's Trump's naivete or Trump's disregard for how it actually works. I really don't know. But it is not a situation that can be remedied with fixes over the course of a quarter or even a year. It's far more complicated than that. All right, the Crake said on Reddit, this is a good substantive critique. I want to deal with this. It's not the education system. David needs to stop saying the reason our government, MAGA, and a large part of the population is ignorant to a lot of basic facts and other things, like not knowing the difference between Oliver Stone and Roger Stone, is the fault of the education system. The education system is there with teachers ready and willing to do the job. The problem is the culture relating to the importance of education. Parents are far more interested in looking at their phones, concerning themselves with youth sports, ice fishing, four-wheeling, owning $80,000 pickup trucks than their kids' education. It's the culture, not the system. Additionally, the behaviors teachers deal with, as well as having to take over the social development of kids, is way out of whack. Teachers are practically raising these kids. Kindergarten-age students are showing up with no number sense and staggering low-level vocabulary. Start placing the blame where it belongs. You can bring a horse to water. So I have an all-of-the-above approach here. If I said to you, our healthcare system is broken, and you go, the doctors are ready and waiting to treat people, you would probably easily make the connection that as well-trained and well-disposed the doctors are, if you have a system that expects them to see 4 patients an hour for 8 to 10 hours a day and do notes, and you pay them based on the number of things that they do, right? It's not the doctors, it's the system. And I agree with this person that the teachers are there, and it's the system that is putting the teachers in a position of having to do all of the things that this person says. Now, in addition to that, it is also the parenting. There is no question. Now, having a kid myself and seeing other parents, the difference that I see in the kids when the parents do versus don't read to the kids, when the parents do versus don't enforce that if you're out somewhere, we're going to be polite to people and we're not going to draw on the walls of a restaurant. And right, this starts at birth, and there's no doubt that by the time 5-year-olds get to kindergarten, a lot has nothing to do with the teachers nor the system, it's the parenting. But to say that the system isn't the problem, no, the teachers aren't the problem, but the system is a big part of the problem, okay? So I think it's a perfectly fair distinction to make. R.K. Sue says, has anyone seen David promoting his book on mainstream TV or heard him on NPR? I'm watching this stoic grifter guy on MSNBC and wondering why the MSM isn't interested in David's obviously correct ideas about modern politics. Maybe I've missed it. I mean, we had a month of Ezra Klein telling us red tape is destroying the Democratic Party. Yeah, so listen, go to davidpakman.com/press. All of my interviews are there. Don Lemon, Chris Cuomo, Matt Dillahunty, Young Turks, Midas Touch, Impact Theory, Brian Tyler Cohen, Tom Hartman, Mark Thompson, Bill Press. They're all there. I'm doing NPR stuff this week. So it's all available at davidpakman.com/press. I try to put all of my interviews up there. All right. We will see you on the bonus show. Make sure you're signed up at joinpakman.com. Email info@davidpakman.com if you have something to say. And remember, we are doing everything we can to build our newsletter. Why? It's the only place where we own the data. If YouTube shuts us down, if TikTok shuts us down, which has happened, we have no access to our user base. With our newsletter, we download our full mailing list every week and we own it. So if they come for us, that's how you'll be able to get a hold of me. That's how I'll be able to let you know what's going on. So please sign up to the newsletter at davidpakman.substack.com or just send me an email, info@davidpakman.com, and say, hey, David, get me on that newsletter. We'll see you on the bonus show. After researching, writing, refining, The Echo Machine, my book, is finally out. This is not just a book about how American politics got so broken. It's also about what's happening right now and what we can still do to stop things from getting worse. Trump's been back in power. The results have been even more catastrophic than many feared, with targeting of political opponents and gutting democratic institutions, laying the groundwork to even further consolidate power. But the thing is that none of this is inevitable. The same forces that brought us here can be countered if we understand how they work and what to do about them. And that's what the Echo Machine is all about. Some say that without corporate media backing, books like this can't succeed. I think we can prove them wrong. You can get the Echo Machine right now at davidpakman.com/echo on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Audible, Kindle, or by calling any local bookstore and asking them to order it. This book is more important than ever. If you care about what happens next, and I do, check out the Echo Machine today at davidpakman.com/echo.